Well, I think we can get started. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us today. Um, this is going to be really, really fun. Um, this is Jin Shin Jyutsu, the art of self-healing. And we're joined today by author, philosopher, and Jin Shin Jyutsu practitioner, Dr. Kathrin Stengel. And we're going to dig into what Jin Shin Jyutsu is and what to use it for and how to do it. So first off, just for anyone who is new to our Equilibrium community, a little bit about who we are. Equilibrium is an organization started by myself and my co-founder, Nicole Blonder, as a way to bring wellness resources to the music industry, both on the artist side and on the industry side. So we've been hosting events like this one and real life ones, which we hope to resume soon over the past couple of years. And we also have a ton of videos and sessions and breathing exercises and meditations and more up on our Instagram at This Is Equilibrium. So feel free to check those out after this. And I'm super excited about this workshop because I am personally a huge fan of Jin Shin Jyutsu, and I was actually introduced to it by Kathrin 6 years ago, 6 or so years ago. I don't know, it feels like forever ago, and it also feels like yesterday. But I had a session with her, and then I started practicing it myself with the help of the Health is in Your Hands card deck, which she's going to talk about. And it's something that I revisit quite frequently to help with a lot of different ailments, from anxiety to help with sleep to muscle pain to all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to turn it over to Kathrin, who's going to start us out by explaining what is Jin Shin Jyutsu.
Thank you so much, Marnie. I'm so thrilled. I really admire your work at Equilibrium, and I'm honored to be here. And I'm really honored to be speaking today to you out there, musicians and members of the music industry. Jin Shin Jyutsu, as you can see here on our, on our poster, is an art. It's an art of self-healing, not a technique of self-healing. And as artists, you know the difference between art and technique. And you also know that for any art, you have to really experience it. So I'm going to tell you about Jin Shin Jyutsu, and you can already feel that, Marnie, and I'm really excited about it because it changed our lives and it helped me tremendously over these many, many years. But as much as I'm extremely passionate about it, you can only get a feel for it if you go along with us today and try it out. So try it out. It's super easy. Unlike playing an instrument, I promise I play the violin, it is much easier to learn Jujutsu than to learn how to play an instrument. So, and you can take it in small steps. I'm going to give you a lot of information, but we will also practice it right away. So, Marnie, you said, what is Jin Shin Jyutsu? Jin Shin Jyutsu is a bit of an unfamiliar name, probably. It is a Japanese healing art. That's a Japanese name, and it means, Jin means compassionate human being. Shin is the creator or the universal. I like to look at it as a universal life force. It's really not, us healing ourselves, or when we go for treatments, we're not healed by the healer, we're tapping into life force. So that's why it's accessible for anyone, anywhere, anytime. And Jyutsu is the art. So if you put that together, Jin Shin Jyutsu is the art of tapping into the universal life force through compassionate human being. Anyone can do it. And it was brought to us by what you see here, Jiro Murai on the left, and Mary Burmeister. If you move your gallery view, you see the wonderful lady on the right. That's Mary Burmeister, who brought that to us from Japan to America. That's where Jin Shin Jyutsu started out. There are now about more than 30,000 practitioners in the world, and many, many more people who practice Jin Shin Jyutsu, because you can learn how to do it yourself. So what is it? We already said it's a Japanese ancient healing art. And in a few words, it's basically like acupuncture without the needles, because you're using your own hands on your body on specific points, in combination with the benefits of meditation, because you're also working with your breath. So we're harmonizing our breath, we're harmonizing our energy, and that creates balance in body, mind, and spirit. So at an ancient Japanese healing art, now what are these, there's one word that I would like to clarify in the beginning because I'm going to use it quite a bit. And this is the word safety energy lock. So in Jin Shin Jyutsu, we have these points on our body. I'm just pointing on one that you can see, but they're all over the body. And I'm going to show you later where they are. And we have 26 on the right and 26 on the left side. And these energy points are points of high traffic. This is where energy often gets a little stuck. Or if you want to use another metaphor, it is like a fuse box, and you have the fuses. These are the safety energy locks. When energy is too strong or too weak, the fuses pop, they trip, and you, by placing your hands on these points, you flip them back, and then the light comes back on, and you feel better, and energy flows harmoniously. And again, anyone can learn it, and I hope that you will walk away tonight with a few things already that you might actually practice every day. And then you will see, then you will get to the juice of it and really see that it can change a lot of things. And it's so easy to implement. It restores physical, emotional, and mental health. Okay, so how? I'm a philosopher, so I'm also a professional skeptic. And of course, I could give a whole session for over an hour on how it really works, but I'm just going to give you the few building blocks, and then go online and feel free to do the research. There's evidence for every of these building blocks, how they impact our health and wellness. So let's start with the breath. So I think everyone here who's probably on this in this workshop tonight knows that breath is the ultimate healer. Breath is what heals everything. That's all meditation practices work with breath. Unfortunately, it's not that easy that you can just say, okay, so I'm going to control my breath and then everything's perfect. It's a different kind of breath. It's the breath that is connected to the universal life force. It's the breath, excuse my wrong English, that breathes you, that breathes through you. That's the breath. And Jin Shin Jyutsu, by using your hands, really helps you to ease into that kind of breath much faster and in an easy way. And then we work with energy pathways that run. We know that from acupuncture, we have known this for 2000 years, that these energy pathways run through our whole body, but they also run through the fingers and the feet. Since it's harder to work with our feet, like you sit in a meeting, you can't hold your toe, right? It's a little weird.
It's frowned upon, I think.
In a meeting, like I could sit here while I talk to you and I could hold my thumb and you wouldn't even notice. So I can work with my fingers all the time in the post office, on the bus, backstage. I can work with fingers, and but the energy pathways run also through the feet. And then we use our hands, and we know when we bump into something, we're not just holding our elbow because a doctor told us that's what we should do. We do it intuitively because we know it helps. It really helps. And now we know there's magnetism in the hands, there's energy in the hands. So hands heal. That's why it's called health is in your hands. And then the safety energy locks I mentioned before, these fuses. Here you see in the drawing, you see that they're really all over the body. And they're on both sides. So 22, 22, 21, 21. So you have it on the right side and on the left side. What side you work on is really up to you. You are the artist. So you will intuitively know, do I need help on the right or on the left side of my body? And then touch, of course, we know how healing touches. There's a whole institute in Miami, a university institute devoted to studying touch and the health benefits of touch. And in these days, we need it probably more than ever. So one more look at these safety energy locks, and then we're gonna get started. Just one more look how these safety energy locks are distributed all over the body. Every number has also a name, which I like. It's so, I think as artists, you will really enjoy that, analysis or the image, that these energy locks are like characters in a play. And when we, let's say we're gonna use 14 here on your waistline and 19, just like this on your waistline, we use these two energy locks. They are like characters in a play, and they now start a dialogue with each other. So each number combined with another number will be a little bit of a different play, and or a different choreography. So that's how it all, you know, how it connects to alleviating certain symptoms. A different combination of numbers will alleviate another one symptom or another. This is still a little abstract, but we're going to start now. So let's take a deep breath. And I want to encourage you, if you are ready, I hope you sit down already. If not, maybe this is the time to sit down somewhere really comfortably. And now I'm just demonstrating. You can have your hands in your lap, very, in a very relaxed way, but so that you can see it, I'm demonstrating. Now you will just walk through your fingers. Basically, hold your finger gently, your thumb. And I'm going to do this now fast, and then we're going to do it much slower. So go through these fingers, holding one after the other, like you hold the finger of a person you love when you walk across the street, not grabbing it and not too limp. And now if you want to do this in your lap, and maybe close your eyes. Feel comfortable to close your eyes and go hold the thumb, index, go through the fingers and then settle for one finger. There's no right or wrong. It will be so interesting to you to see why you probably intuitively picked exactly the right finger for exactly the right time. So once you decided, it can be the right hand, it can be the left hand, just with a little bit of awareness for, oh, wow, these fingers, some feel tighter, some feel a little more puffy, one feels colder than the other. So yes, settle for one. And now do me a big favor and don't let go of that finger while I explain a little bit more about what Jin Shin Jyutsu is all about. Keep holding that finger. I want to show you that it makes a difference, even if you pay attention to something else. So keep holding that finger. And if you let go, remember which one you held. So why is Jin Shin Jyutsu? I think it's the only complementary healing modality I know of that can really easily practiced by yourself. And I'm super passionate about this because I've been kind of an alternative health freak since I've been 6 years old. And I found it always very sad that most of these healing modalities are not available to people of all socioeconomical backgrounds. Most of them are not covered by insurance, and they're so valuable. They're so effective. Jin Shin Jyutsu is practiced and taught at Morristown Hospital. There are nurses who do nothing else than Jin Shin Jyutsu. That's how effective it is for healing. But most of the modalities are not accessible, but Jin Shin Jyutsu is. And how do you access it? You have a book and card set that contains all of the self-help that you can do. So you can get treatments. You can go see someone like me, a Jin Shin Jyutsu practitioner, which is lovely and I highly recommend it, but you have to pay for it. But if this is too costly for you, if you cannot integrate that into your life, then you have equal access to Jin Shin Jyutsu through this book and card set. All of the self-help is in here. So you can learn how to help yourself. You have a symptoms index. Let's say you have eaten something that didn't agree with you. See here, it says indigestion. Then you have the safety energy log 1, safety energy log 14. Okay, what does that mean? That means you can pull the card. Let's say we pull the card, safety energy log 14. Okay, so that's all you need to do. I have indigestion, I look it up, I pull my card, and now I can read everything. I don't have to. I can also just look at the photo and just place my hands where the lady places her hands. I can also read it, and then it gets very interesting because I see that it helps a lot of physical symptoms, that it helps with mental emotional problems, for example, with worry, with stress, because often indigestion is brought on by stress. So here's how you use that. And you have all of these cards, and you can harmonize your body, mind, and spirit, enhance your immune system, calm the nervous system, and it will really alleviate pain and discomfort. I have 3 children who used it all the time. And the benefit is also that you can, you know, most often a practitioner isn't even there when you need them. Not at night, not on, like all kids always gets it on holidays. Doctor isn't there. Yeah, all of the crises I had were usually not at the convenient time when you can call your practitioner and say, oh, please come over, help me. So it's so self-empowering. I can't tell you how self-empowering it is to say, I'm not feeling well, I know what to do.
I love looking at the index. Like that's how I use my recipe books too. Like I'll be like, okay, what do I have? I have this. Let me go see what I can make with this. And I do the same thing with the book. Like I'll just look and be like, okay, I have indigestion, for example. Okay, let me look that up. And I'm always, because of course I haven't memorized the whole deck or, you know, all the safety energy locks, but I love reading the card, and always there's something in there that I'm like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. I'm also experiencing that, and I didn't even realize it. So it's really cool.
That is the cool thing, Marnie, that it really is the coolest thing that I noticed once I started using the cards, is that I looked up one thing, and then there were usually 3 other things on the card that I thought, oh my God, you know, I never knew it was connected.
Right.
I never knew my headaches had to do with my gallbladder. But it's really cool. So it's, as you said, it's also a great tool to get to know your body and to see the connections that honestly often even a doctor can't see, because they just focus on, specialists often focus on one thing, on where the symptom is. But if the gallbladder energy is out of control and you get a headache, that's not something people usually look at, but it's phenomenal. So yes, so we have a website with what I want to say now, because I keep forgetting. I get so excited about the art that I forget. We have a website and we have free videos. So they're 3 minutes long. You can meditate with them. Feel free to go there and just practice it. But we're gonna keep practicing. Are you still holding your finger? I hope yes, because we're gonna look at that now. Okay, so Marnie's gonna help me with that. So do we have people who held their thumbs here?
You guys can just drop in the chat what if you've held your thumb. I was holding my thumb, so I'm gonna say.
It's not a test, it's just fun. Feel free at this point to just, if you're typing anyway, to let us know which finger you held, so we can see that in the chat.
Okay, we got a pointer.
Okay, cool.
We got a pointer, a little finger.
I know you need to let go to type.
Yeah, you have to let go to type it.
Go
okay,
back.
so we've got at least one thumb, one pointer,
cool.
One little finger. We've got a good mix.
We have a good mix. That's very cool. So let's start with the thumb. So when you held this finger, you thought you didn't know what you were doing, but you did a lot of things to harmonize your body, mind, and spirit. First of all of the fingers harmonize the emotions. So here, the people who held their thumb, they harmonized worry. If you think about little babies, what do?
Suck their thumb.
Yeah. And they don't do it in order for us to pay for the orthodontist later. know what they're doing, because they really are they are aware that they're completely dependent on others to help them and be there for them. And we'll see later that they also know what else they know intuitively. So one thing about Jin Shin Jyutsu I can't emphasize enough is you know it. I see people on the subway doing Jin Shin Jyutsu all the time. But now you will learn how to use it intentionally. So what about, we didn't have a ring finger, but I'm gonna still.
Oh, we did. Oh no,
Okay.
ring finger. Yeah, we had little finger. You're right. Yeah.
So
Well, we had some people that didn't reply, so maybe they were holding the ring finger.
Yeah. So the ring finger is great for any kind of sadness and grief. So that's a good finger to hold when you know you're overwhelmed by sadness. The middle finger we had, I think, as I remember, middle finger, very easy in our context, anger. So next time you feel like flipping, you just hold it. I tried it out. Honestly, I tried it out in difficult conversations. I held my middle finger and I didn't wait for like 2 minutes and meditated. I just held it for seconds. And my response was completely different from what I would have said otherwise. Try it out. I think everybody can use that.
I'm definitely gonna try that.
Yeah, it's try it particularly with your family members. I really, when you're ready, you already see it, feel it coming, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna hold this and then wait what wants to be said, instead of, oh, I know what I'm gonna say now. I know it already. So in pointer, fear, great finger for fear. I always hold it when I'm in the dentist chair. I can tell you, I don't know about you. My husband finds it's relaxing. I don't find the dentist relaxing. Sorry for the dentist here, but it is amazing for any kind of situation where you have fear. And then we have the little one. So that's an interesting emotion. Effort. I mean, all the others were all clear. This is an emotion. So what kind of emotion is effort? But I think it's brilliant that she put that in. This is the authenticity finger. This is of us doing, like trying. I'm trying to be the best mom. I'm trying to be the best artist. I'm trying to be always on top of things. So we all need a lot of little finger holding. What does the little finger connect to energetically? The heart. Lots of heart attacks in this country and in the Western world, where everybody tries so much to be better and better and better. And as Mary always said, as my favorite saying, she says, well, there's a reason we're called human beings, not human doings. So this is all the doing, rather than saying it's okay. You are who you are. You're here for a reason, and you are good the way you are. Don't have to try so hard. And now we get to, okay, here we go back. Whoever remembers what they held, remember what you held. So let's go to the thumb. The babies know they need to harmonize their stomach and spleen, because their stomach function is still very weak. They came out of the water, all of a sudden they have to breathe and to digest food from 0 to 100, basically. And so anyone who has a stomach problems, hold your thumb. It is miraculous. I think Marnie had some experience with that, right?
I did, yeah. You know what's funny is that when we first, I had you hosting a session, even before I worked with you, we did like a workshop together, and you did the demonstration and I held my thumb instinctually. And I always kind of do that whenever I feel like anxious or just nervous or just off. And that's kind of just my go-to. But I also found I didn't know that it was connected to the stomach. And I also sometimes have stomach issues. So when I realized that from the cards, or I think you initially said that in the workshop, I was like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. And now if I have a stomach thing, if my stomach is a little off, whether it's like butterfly-y because of anxiety or if it's just not feeling good, I will hold my thumb. And also I'll use my thumb for both of those things. And yeah, it's amazing.
It is really amazing. So hold your thumb. It's a great thing. Now the people, we had sadness and grief, large intestine and lung. A lot of people who have serious grief, I read a study about this, develop coughs and pneumonia, and so it goes to the lungs. Even I heard about a dog who died 1 week after his owner died on a and it was the lungs that gave in. So lungs, if you look around, lungs are deeply connected to grief. And so if you now look at it, like you say, I'm not sad, but if you cough, that is good to know for performers, I think. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, I have to sing, and I have this cough, or I have to speak and I have this cough coming on. It really helps. Hold your ring finger.
That's amazing. Good for public speaking too. That's awesome.
Very good for public speaking. Or you can do like a ring with thumb and ring finger. People do this who do marathon running.
Oh.
We have friends in the community who do a lot of hiking and running. And so when they get to the end, when it gets really hard, they do this. And I've tried it. It really helps.
For like endurance, for stamina?
Yeah, endurance, breathing. I did it when I felt like, sometimes you have some actually so much better. I haven't had this in many years, but before I sometimes had like a little, not panic attack, but when you have this feeling like I'm not feeling so, like I'm out of breath, I'm not feeling.
Yeah, like you can't take a deep breath.
Yeah,
that feeling.
then I do this. I even do it in the pocket of my coat, and it changes immediately. It's for women women for hormonal balance.
That's really cool.
Balance. Really cool. And then we have the anger, liver, and gallbladder. So I don't want to say that everybody who held their middle finger today was angry, okay? This is the cool thing about Jiu-Jitsu. It could be that your gallbladder or liver was asking you to harmonize. Your body needs harmonization in the area of that energy that is fueled by the gallbladder and the liver. And if you look at the color, green, everything is super green right now. So this is the season of the middle finger, the season of gallbladder and liver, the season of allergies. So maybe you have allergies. I wish I could see the people here on the because that's what I love about the other format, is that you see like, oh my God, I held my middle finger. Yeah, I do have such bad allergies. I didn't know. Intuitively, you did the right thing. Sure, someone is smiling right now. And yes, and if you held your index finger, it doesn't mean you're absolutely in fear right now. It also could mean that you have back pain. Bladder and kidney energy run down the back. So this is a good thing, I think, for performers as well to know, is any kind of back pain, hold your index finger, because that's the energy that helps to release the back. And then we spoke about that, the connection between small intestine, heart, and the trying so hard. Okay, so this is how you hold them. And just one more review, and I want to make sure in that review to make this clear. If you held your right thumb, everything that we said applies to the right thumb and to the left thumb, to the right index and to the left index, okay, and so forth. It applies to both hands. Both help with worry, both help with stomach. So just to make this clear, and so you have the emotions covered, you have the energy pathways covered, and you have the safety energy locks covered that we spoke about before, these high traffic junction points. So if nothing else, please, if you walk out tonight, try out to hold your fingers. Take that from this workshop today. Try it out. And again, I can't emphasize it enough. It's all about experiencing it. If I can talk as much as I want. And for overall harmony, just put your hands together. The palms of the hands is for grounding and overall harmony.
So if you had maybe a symptom that you couldn't remember maybe in the moment, which finger is it? If you put your palms together, would you alleviate some of those symptoms?
Yes, you would. You would. It's maybe a little less effective than the other ones because you're targeting it holistically, but you definitely get this. I mean, there is a reason why every religion I know has this praying gesture. It connects the right and the left side of the body. It brings you into your center. It makes you one, because you are, like Merleau-Ponty said, you feel yourself as touching and touched. So you're really both. And
that's really cool.
That's only, that's a very rare gift to have, that we human beings have, that we can feel ourselves as the toucher and the touched at the same time. And there's a reason, because it reboots your whole body if you put your hands like this together. You can also do this, by the way, and that's the other version of how people pray. So it is all about creating unity, and not just unity with you and the universe, the universal life force, but also unity of body, mind, and spirit. Thanks for asking. That's a good question. So I have these, I just want to roll one out here, the small intestine function, just to give you an energy. If you get the cards, you can also get them on Kindle, and just, you know, they're much cheaper, but at least you have them, so you can work with them and you can look at them. So I want to give one example how I work with them, because many people keep asking me, and get a little overwhelmed with all the information. As you said, you can't remember everything. And so just look at the cards, put them out or flip through them on your phone and look what kind of, here you see the energy pathways, right? So look at the cards, and let's say we compare small intestine and large intestine. Very different pathway. And so you'll say, oh, you know what? I have a sore throat, I have a bit of a headache, and I'm a little nauseous. Small intestine. So you look like, oh my God, this covers most of the things I really want to address right now. Great flow for sore throat, right? We were talking about this for performing. Well, now say, oh, I don't have time to do my small intestine flow, okay, or it looks weird, I can't stand like this. The little finger. I've had a friend call me desperately from the airport. She had to give a big talk, I mean, for a big workshop, I think 500 participants. She had a terrible sore throat. She was in the airport. I gave her the little finger and the flow that we're going to do now. And she completely made it through her workshop.
That's awesome.
So it's powerful. That's powerful. Opposite side of the sore throat. If you have a sore throat on the left, take your right pinky.
Oh, that's interesting. Very cool.
So I wanted to show you, they all look different. I think we're going to skip that, but it's just to show that these energies, they run in a circle throughout the 24 hours of the day, and they pass on the baton like in a cyclist in a relay race. So I just wanted to show one more way of looking at your own body and say, let's say, because we had the small intestine, I want to go to 2 to 4 p.m. So many people get tired between 2 and 4 p.m. and get a cup of coffee. So you could also just look at it that way and say, oh, you know, if I always get tired between 2 and 4, maybe I want to help my small intestine energy. And how do we help it? By simply holding the little finger, or by doing a flow, which we're going to do right now. So this is, hope you're all here. And let's start. I'm going to start now the meditative part of this workshop. So I want you to, I will tell you where to place your hands, and then I have my singing bowl, so I don't have to talk that much. And it's very clear when the meditative session ends and begins. I'm going to walk you through it a little bit in a guided meditation style, just so you connect to the characters of these energy locks. We call this to give ourselves a flow. When we put both hands on specific points on the body, this is what I call, you can give yourself a flow. It's a beautiful word because it really starts the energy, it makes the energy flow harmoniously. So how are we doing time-wise, Marnie?
Yeah, we're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
How much?
We have about 20 minutes if we're going to take some questions after. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to take questions. Okay, so, but I want to invite you because, as I said, this is an art and you want to experience it. So let's get started. Let's put our right hand on our left shoulder really comfortably. I call it clothes hanger. So you just don't do this, you know, like this is not an exercise or gym. This is should be relaxing. So hang it in there. Oh, and you feel probably already the tension in the shoulders. All of us sitting at desks all day long. And the other hand goes into your groin on the same side, just where where your upper thigh meets your upper body. And now relax your shoulders. If you can, I really recommend, it's been a long day, probably. I'm glad you're here in such a sunny, beautiful afternoon. Maybe you can close your eyes. Make this really your time and your space after work, after a long year. Maybe you can close your eyes and feel the breath traveling through you. On your shoulder, you're holding safety energy lock number 3, which is the door. It is your body's door to your immune system. Keep it flexible, keep it not locked, but also not wide open. So let out what needs to be let out, and don't let in what shouldn't come in. And then in your groin, you're holding your 15, that's joy and laughter. I think we all are craving for joy and laughter. That's why I picked that flow. It's a reboot flow. So feel. Observe your breath. You don't have to do anything. Don't change it. Just observe it. Listen to it like you would listen to a beautiful melody. Where will it go? Does it travel all the way to the feet? Feel it breathing in and out. This helps to release any kind of tension in your back. Helps with stress and grief and harmonizes all of your emotions. It also brings new perspective and awareness. Let's make that a start of a new life. Every breath is a new life. Feel the breath travel all the way down to your feet. Exhale down the front of your body from the face, through the chest, the thighs, all the way down to your feet. And feel how the breath changes and the inhale comes in and travels from the feet, from the earth, all the way up the back of your body to the top of your head. This is your time, your space, your breath, your rhythm. All the plenitude of being. Let your shoulders go. Drop your shoulders. And let's, for a short time, switch sides, because actually before you switch sides, keep your eyes closed for a moment and feel the difference. Feel how differently the left side feels of your body compared to the right side. And then put your left hand on your right shoulder and the right hand in the groin. Let that door swing in a harmonious way. Breathe in and out at your own time, your own rhythm. Let go of the grief and stress. You can imagine that every exhale is like a waterfall, and it just takes with it all of the accumulations in your body, the stresses, all of the dust, toxins. And with every inhale, you bring in the new. Nutrition from the earth, the green from the leaves, new perspectives. Slowly open your eyes if you want to. And maybe this would be a good time for questions. And then we could, I think, close with the last flow.
That was amazing. Yeah, if anybody wants to drop in the chat just what they're experiencing or how that was for them, feel free. Or if you have any questions, let us know. I can say that that was, I mean, I was actually had pulled, I thought I told you this earlier, but I pulled cell 11 and 15 this morning because I had some shoulder pain. And so I was doing something like that this morning, and that the combination of the ones that you just did were awesome. Love that. So thank you for me personally.
Where does your shoulder hurt?
It's kind of like by the shoulder blade. So this was really nice. I felt like there was definitely something going on there. It actually feels a lot better.
Very cool. Very cool.
Really cool.
You could also do bend your elbow. We're not going to do this together, but just for you, and just hang in like this.
Now, would you do that on the same side that you're experiencing the pain?
Yes, I would.
Okay, that's definitely, I think a lot of people too, shoulder pain and back pain, either musicians who have like repetitive motion injuries, so that might be useful after a show or after practicing, and even just all of us sitting at our desks all day.
Yeah, it's the sitting a lot.
Oh yeah.
Between the blades is also, this is where the bladder energy, so if we would flip back, which I'm not going to do now, but to the energy pathways, this is where the bladder energy runs in 3 lines down your back. So for you, you could, I think you might want to try out the bladder energy tonight.
Yeah, so that's a good idea.
Pick your bladder card, and yeah, I think that would be phenomenal, because this is really, we're putting so much tension on that energy pathway, and
yeah,
and it's
kind of compressing it all day.
Sometimes we don't drink enough water because it's really switched from cold to warm very fast. So I noticed that you need to drink water. So that's maybe also a sign for you to say, oh, maybe I have to drink more.
See, I haven't had one sip of my water since I poured it before this session. So there you go. We have some questions. So Nicole said that felt amazing, that she could feel the energy moving, which is awesome. And Joanna says, she asked if you can explain, what do you mean by high traffic junction points?
Yes, what I mean is you have these energy, you have energy in your body. Obviously, it's life energy, and it's very complex with all of the organs fueling your body. So it is basically like, if this person lives in New York, it's like Columbus Circle, okay? If you have, we always have high traffic in Columbus Circle. Imagine Columbus Circle is the 22 here, or yeah, let's say Marnie's shoulder is Columbus Circle. So so there's high traffic in that area, and then it gets congested. So first she says, okay, maybe it's my shoulder. Maybe it's the traffic jam is really only in Columbus Circle. Okay, so you're working on your shoulder like we did right now. But then I took it a little further and I said, well, maybe it's your bladder energy. So what I said is like, well, Marnie is actually not, her shoulder is Amsterdam Avenue. So you feel like, why is it so clogged on Amsterdam Avenue? Not because Amsterdam Avenue has any problem. Your shoulder doesn't have a problem, maybe. But because Columbus Circle has a problem and there's traffic at Columbus Circle, it backs up all the way to Amsterdam Avenue. That's where the symptom occurs. So that's why I said you can also look at it not just like, oh, shoulder, but you can also say, well, where in a bigger picture, often the symptom is not where the cause is. In Eastern medicine, very often the symptom is not where the cause is. So the shoulder is not necessarily the cause,
right?
But maybe the bladder energy or you not nourishing it enough is the cause for your shoulder pain. Does that make sense?
So like when you get acupuncture done and they maybe are tapping the kidney meridian, but they're not putting it on your back. They're putting it, I think it's on your leg or something. So it's sort
Yes,
of
and
referring.
your toe, you know. And actually there is now, which I get super excited about, because I'm always about bridging Western medicine and Eastern medicine. I'm not for a separation. It's complementary. It's super complementary, in my opinion. I think that's what the future is going to be. And they actually, and you will see where I get with that. We're getting with this, because they just found what they called a new organ, which is not new, called the interstitium. I don't know whether you heard about the interstitium. And it's under the skin. It's a whole network, which is like, now they know it communicates electrically in the speed of light from your head
Fascinating.
to your toes. It's the interstitium. And so it's a whole network of collagen that is like a conductor for energy. And this is probably what acupuncture worked with for the last 2000 years. We never knew about it because we only work with corpses. We never work with live people, but now we can put cameras in live tissue. And that's how we
Wow.
found out that what is collapsed when you're dead is not collapsed when you're alive, and is a conductor for energy. And that's
Wow.
why when you stick in a needle in the toe, it can relieve your headache. So often people
Right.
like, why would I hold my finger if I have a shoulder? You know, why would I hold, Marnie would hold her index because that's the bladder finger. It's like, finger for my shoulder pain? Yes, because of that connection.
That's amazing. I love that. Joanna, did that answer your question? Let us know if you have any follow-up questions, because I think we're going to have a little bit more time at the very end for questions. And I think we have one more, my favorite go-to flow that we're going to do too, right?
Okay, here comes the reboot flow, I call it. So this is a great flow for you. You just put your hands under your arms. If you cannot, do both sides, by the way. Sometimes it's not uncomfortable on your chest, particularly for women. Sometimes it's really not so pleasant. Then just do one side and put your other hand on your upper knee on the opposite side. But if you can, just do, this is, we call it the big hug or the reboot flow. So this is absolutely amazing because it harmonizes the whole endocrine system. And we're just going to spend a few more minutes going back to this meditative state. Now feel how you're grounded and how your breath is there for you always. We hardly ever pay attention to it. Only if we feel out of breath or we can't breathe properly. But what a gift. Constantly you're nourished with inhale and exhale. And the more you surrender to it, the more you trust it, the more you lean into that love that is given to you all the time, the more you will feel how your body relaxes and drops into that care of your breath. The big hug, we all need hugs. Jin Shin Jyutsu is tapping into the life force through compassionate human beings. And compassion really starts with yourself, not in an egotistical way, but it has to start with yourself. Most often, we're the least compassionate with ourselves. Compassion is not narcissism. Compassion with your body, this amazing, amazing body that is given to you. What an incredible, incredible work of art. Your fingertips rest under your arms. They open up the lymph system. They also rest on safety, energy lock 26. Perfect peace and harmony. And your thumbs rest on your chest. Safety, energy lock number 13. Love myself and love my enemies. Compassion. A sacred, sacred spot. The pharaohs are buried with their hands on safety energy lock 13. Your heart, your emotions, your love. This flow is great in order to reboot your energy, and also great if you need to relax before a show, if you want to ground yourself, even before you live stream. Just a few minutes, or even just 1 minute of closing your eyes, feeling the exhale go down the front of your body. The inhale come through your feet, nourish you. Coming home, true to yourself, to your real home. And from that true being, the magnificence of your unique, special, authentic, incredible, true being, you can do whatever you want to do with ease, with no effort. It will flow. Life will flow. The energy can flow unobstructed through all of these safety energy locks, these traffic junctions. Breathing in and out. And there might be thoughts, let them just flow by like the noises you hear from outside. Just don't follow up. There might be emotions, let them flow by. You don't even have to name them. And you can always come back to that body, that breath. And your hands guide you inwards to your being now. Thank you, everybody. I hope you really enjoyed the taster of the art of Jin Shin Jyutsu. I have a Tuesday evening meditation, so then I don't give a big overview on what Jin Shin Jyutsu is. We just practice it. And everybody who attends can basically also throw in, if they feel comfortable, what they would like to work on, and then they can tap into my expertise. And then there are, I host introductory workshops for those you think would be interested, or if you want to delve a little deeper.
That's awesome. Kathrin, is that all on your website?
Yes, that's all on my website here.
I'm just going to put it into the chat too, so everybody can grab that link. Thank you everyone so much for joining. Thank you for experiencing this with us. I hope you all can see how you felt at the beginning of the workshop and now. And really, you know, like Kathrin said, you really do have to experience it to see, you know, how it works and how it feels. So hope everyone feels really good.
Thanks so much for making this possible. And everybody, remember, the fingers are your best friends.
Yeah, and they're easier to remember than where to do, you know, the safety energy locks too. So when in doubt, I always kind of think, okay, I can remember which finger is which, so that is helpful.
As we know in all arts, the most simple is the most complex. Simplicity is the hardest to achieve. And the fingers are very simple, but they have all the complexity of Jin Shin Jyutsu in them. Not to say that I think it is worth to work with everything, with all of the building blocks.
Definitely. No, I can definitely see a difference when I try to do, you know, the different, you know, positions with like the fuse boxes, you know, kind of feeling them connect. So it's incredible. Kathrin, I can't thank you enough for joining us today and presenting this amazing art. Nicole said that was so incredible. The experience is powerful. I totally agree. And yeah, check out more information on Kathrin's website. It's Health is in Your Hands with dashes between all the words. And we'll be posting this on our YouTube, and we'll put a snippet on our Instagram so you guys can revisit this and share with friends.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you all so much. Have a good night.